Here's the thing. Buying a house at 20 isn't realistic. Most of the stuff we see on social media isn't realistic. When it comes to social media, people tend to follow those whom they can relate to. That comes with people they look like, the same age as them, or even people they go to school with. 18 to 24-year-olds make up 30.1% of influencers right now. And when it comes to posting your life online, most people tend to post the best and most exciting aspects of their lives. And the people who grow a following tend to post more and more extravagant lifestyles to stay relevant. However, for their non-influencer viewers, this sets an unrealistic standard for where they should be at that point in their lives. And that point is called emerging adulthood. Emerging adulthood is a developmental stage spanning from the late teens through to the mid-20s. It's characterized by significant changes and explorations in various aspects, including love, work, and your worldview. Recently, this period has seen a shift with later ages for marriage and parenthood and higher numbers of young adults pursuing higher education. However, in this digital age, even though this period is shifting later in life, people are still feeling left behind by their peers due to social media highlighting those who live the influencer lifestyle. As a 22-year-old in my last semester of college, I'm in the midst of emerging adulthood. And I'm going to be honest, I have no idea what I'm doing. I've got 2 jobs, neither of which are in my degree field. I'm planning on moving in a few months, and after that, I've got no real plan. What you see here is what an actual day in emerging adulthood looks like.
And she was like, yeah, that'd be great. And he was like, no.
You're like, all right.
What are we doing here, babe?
Chill on me.
What are we doing?
I'm just asking some light questions.
Yeah. Literally.
Guys, here's Nick. You can see how serious he is. He has a button-up shirt and glasses.
This is how restaurants work. To the day in life.
We wait a million years for a drink.
How much do you love your job, Jonah?
11 out of 10 every day. I really love my job. I'm 50%.
I love that.
The lies he tells.
38.
Here's our other server, Lou.
Whoa, what is that?
This is for Nick's school project.
Oh, snap. What's up? What's it called?
Yeah.
38.
See, I have to furnish my own drinks.
But look how pretty she's gonna make it look. Hey, look, I'm getting content right now.
I appreciate it.
This is the life of a server right here, carrying 3 plates that are probably burning hot.
Yeah.
My rhubarb.
See, there's nowhere putting in an order. Okay, so this,
I'm a server, but I'm also a bartender.
so she can do both.
Because our bartenders can't keep up.
She also manages, decorates, floor plans,
Yeah.
and helps out customer service.
She's the heart of this company.
If it wasn't for me, there, you know.
See, here's all her drinks, and she's gonna bring me. Here's Nick scooping ice. Stay.
The vibes are so good.
The vibe just nice. Muscle. Here's everybody dining. What a beautiful day at Village. Slay.
Okay, so I am also a full-time student and I'm working here. I'm the host at Village. This is our POS system. You can't even see me because I need like a higher. Can I hold it? I guess I'll hold it, right? Well, I feel like a real vlogger. Yeah, Nick has been doing awesome. He's been here officially now, I'd say, for like 3 weeks. This is like hard. It feels weird because I'm like looking at myself, but do I look at the camera or do I look at myself? I don't know. But yay! There's Carlos, our busser. Hey, DJ showed up.
My name is Andrew Duffy. I'm an automation engineer, and I graduated in 2023. Right? No, technically 2022.
Okay, that's what I thought it was. It was like,
Yeah, well, it's like that fall or whatever.
Okay, and how did you get your job?
I was like a senior at Rutgers, and I had no internship experience. And I was kind of in a crunch to be like, oh, I got to get an internship. So I rapid applied to like 300 different places on Handshake and wherever. Heard back from like, let's say like 7 of them, failed like 5 of those interviews because they were like difficult technical ones. And then there was like one random quick apply for the where I work now. And I ended up getting the internship and then did well and got hired back.
And how long would you say that took you?
From start to finish?
Well, like your job specifically, like from application to like I work here.
So they had late applications for the internship, so that was like late April. I probably got it in like the middle of April, let's say like April like 15th. They sent me the offer letter by the week after that, and I started the week after that.
So probably
like 2 weeks between the two. Yeah, I started in the beginning of May. And then that was like 10 weeks. And then on like the 8th week, my manager called me and was like, hey, if we gave you an offer, you want to take it? And I said, yes.
Thank
So
you.
here we are.
So like transition from college to job for you was like pretty seamless. Like throughout college, you weren't interning, doing like the typical what you should be doing according to like standards of like, I need to work in this field. I need to get experience, get a job, whatever. You were just like, senior, gotta go.
Yeah, I knew I had to do something, and as soon as school ends, you're kind of in that rush to get a job because student loans are pending and whatnot. It was a little different for me because I still had, so I was a senior, I needed an internship. How was I going to do that if I had, if I was going to be graduated? Like, that doesn't, you usually are going back to school, but conveniently, I had an extra semester with like 2 more classes to finish my major. And actually, it was to finish my minor. I literally just had a math class, which was the hardest math class I took at Rutgers. And so throughout that semester, because they asked me if I wanted a job, and I said yes, and they're like, "When can you start?" And I could have, done cheerleading like I had been doing for all 4 years and do that, or I could just start working full time. And my manager was pretty chill, and they didn't mind if I went to class in the morning 2 days a week and logged on a little later. It wasn't a big deal, so I just jumped straight into it full time. And then I would go to class. I mean, it was only Monday, Wednesday, or something like that. And I had an 8 a.m. class, so I was basically ready to go by working hours. But like, it was it was still like a mesh. I was still a college student.
Yeah. So your blend was, there was no real transition period. It was just like in and going.
Yes, but I also I guess you could say I eased into it because I was still in that college environment.
And then, so you're, since out of college, you're working full time. How has the job been?
The job's cool. I like it. It's corporate America, so like, what can you can't expect too much. It's definitely very slow, which is nice. It doesn't have the same level of stress as school does, and you get paid to do it. However, when you do get stressed because you're like, oh my god, I suck at my job, the stress of it is a little bit worse. But you learn to deal with it.
Yeah, as
one does, right?
You have to in life. And so, since when you were in college, you were living here full time. What's your situation now? What are you doing?
Currently, I live at home with my parents. It's pretty great, only because my brothers don't live home anymore, so it's just me and my parents, and it's rent free, and I can't really complain. I work remote mostly, so there isn't too much incentive for me to move out yet. And while I still have some student loans left and whatnot, it would be financially responsible of me to stay home. And also, rent is crazy at the moment,
yes.
So why bother?
Yes. Honestly, like, that to me sounds like a great plan. I am personally, I can't go back. Love my family, love my parents. I'm not going back. Your situation is like kind of like the best case scenario for like a college student. Like, you didn't really have to intern. You got to have fun, do sports, like all 4 years pretty much. And then like you have a job that you enjoy for 98% of it, and then like you live at home. Like, you're not paying rent. You're not stressed other than like debt from college.
Yeah, and going to Rutgers isn't too bad because it's in state tuition. So compared to what some people that go out of state, it's basically a fraction of that.
Right.
So.
Even me, like, in state compared to like Sophie and Anna, my roommates, or not Anna, Rachel, insane. Like
maybe 4 times the amount.
If like at least that.
Yeah,
I
crazy.
took summer classes this semester, or next summer, I guess, to finish some, like, just to get credits. And for 2 3-credit classes, so 6 credits, it's like almost 3,000. For Rachel to take one class, I think it was like 6,000 to 9,000.
That's great.
It's like, oh no.
Couldn't be me.
No. That was my thing. When I first was like thinking about colleges, I was trying to go to like Washington State. I'm like, I'm out of here.
Yeah.
Then I learned what in-state and out-of-state tuition was, and I said, oh, it looks like Rutgers. I love it here.
Yeah, and a lot of people will like take on a bunch of debt and be like, oh, I mean, that's fine, I'll just pay it off. But then they don't realize that, like, when their monthly payments start, like, if you have like $100K in loans, your monthly payment is like $2,000 or more.
And like an entry-level
And like,
job.
if you don't have a job, and even if you have like an entry-level job that doesn't pay that much, like, you're barely gonna be able to afford it.
And like, imagine you stay out there. Like, you have to pay rent, you have to pay bills, you have to get groceries. Like, it's not going good.
Yeah, life ain't cheap.
Life, especially in this economy. Oh God.
Yeah, that's how it be.
So you said with your job, did you get that one through Handshake?
Correct.
Handshake for those who don't know, would you say it's like a social media for like job recruiters?
It's like the college LinkedIn.
Yes. Okay, that's a great way to put it. You said you applied to what, like 300?
About 300. But I will say that I'm pretty lazy. They were mostly quick applies where you just one click apply. And at a certain threshold, probably past like the first 100 or so, I was just clicking on anything that seemed related to my field, which is IT.
Mm-hmm. So with your situation, so like Handshake, IT, pretty much just you have a job in tech.
Correct.
How would you say this current climate of, I guess, the world, how technologically advanced we are, how would you say that affected not only you getting your job, but like your job now?
So your question is, how does the current technological climate affect my job?
Yeah, so like,
Oh.
also getting your job though, because like Handshake, if we did not have Handshake,
Mm-hmm.
what would you have done?
Well, assume we didn't have Handshake or things like Handshake. There'd probably be more like career fairs that you'd feel obligated to go to.
Mm-hmm.
So I figure in any situation or any reality, I probably end up getting something because like Handshake was like the thing to do,
Mm-hmm.
right? And then going to the job fair would be the same thing to do.
Mm-hmm.
Like you go in a suit and you hand out your resume.
Right.
You know,
So do you think if Handshake wasn't a thing, you would have interned like
at the same
earlier?
place or earlier, probably
Yes.
for sure.
Okay.
I also was just unsure of what I wanted to do
Mm.
because I was computer science at first, and then I just like failed out of it. Switched to IT, and got the same job. So it was like it flows.
I
you
mean,
know?
that was the same thing with me and marketing versus communications. I love communications. I'm so glad I went into it. But marketing, that's what I thought I wanted to do.
Mhm.
Marketing is a business thing, and you have to do math. You have to do up to calc, I think. You have to do accounting,
Mhm.
which accounting I did, thank God. Macro, micro, and statistics for business. That was the hardest math class I took, and I said, absolutely not. That's
Yeah.
what made me get out of there.
Yeah, I was a math minor, so I
do remember
feel
this.
the pain.
You went to like what, Calc 4 or something?
I took like Calc 4, and I took like linear algebra, and I took like graph theory. That's the bad one. Yeah, all of that stuff.
Absolutely not. But your current job, IT, how do you think that our current world technological standpoint, how do you think that affects your job?
So in IT, even now, maybe 20 years back, 10 years back, it doesn't really matter when it is. It just moves really fast, and there's always new stuff coming up. There will always be a new buzzword. Right now, it's AI. So everyone says AI this, AI that. I hate it. Only because it could be AI, right? Like you got something that's trained to a model, blah blah blah. But a lot of people mistake what they believe to be AI is really just like an if statement in a for loop. And if you know anything about like coding or anything like that, that's like the most rudimentary shit stuff. So yeah, that's how it impacts my career.
What is your job? Like, what do you do?
Okay. So I work for an investment bank, and the bank has a ton of servers, whether they're Linux or Windows. And my team's job is we manage like the configuration on those. A lot of them aren't physical; they're virtual. So what I do is I manage like it's called provisioning, which is creating virtual servers, and distribute them to different teams. When they get messed up in our process of creating it, I have to resolve the errors, and then I also do some like developing sort of things. I write a lot of scripts and code, and yeah, that's basically my job.
So, like you said, AI is like the new buzzword. What do you think AI could do to your job?
I use AI. So at work, I do have like Microsoft Copilot. I will use it. So like for example, people always say like, "Oh, you code. Like, what language do you use?" And at a certain point, it's not about like what language you use, because like it's just like, how do I solve this problem in this language? And like that's your Google search. So I'll just use it for that. So I'll be like I'll type in the chat, and I'll be like, suppose you're like an experienced developer in this language. Write me a script that does this in Python, for example. You know, and it'll spit something out. It's not always right, but it's close enough that you can like take it and like work with it.
Okay. So you're on your side, AI is helping you.
I would say so. I feel like there's a lot of jobs where it's not as useful, and it may detract from certain things. Like if you're getting a bunch of AI generated emails, like you're gonna know. And even like normal business speak has like a very like standard way to it.
Yeah.
And like you know when you're getting like a formal email how it's gonna sound.
See, like, yeah, with real estate at least, I know a lot of clients, if I'm calling them and they're not answering, I'm going to send an email, I'm going to send a text. And we have a lot of pre-written stuff that I can, like, go into and then, like, change it around for specifically that client.
Mm-hmm.
And I will have to, like, send that, and they'll send, like, a generic, like, yes, no, stop, whatever. And I'll literally have to respond, like, this is not, I'm not a robot. And they're like, oh, I thought you were a computer this whole time. And I'm like, no. You just don't answer, so like
you should be like, I've become sentient.
Right, like I'm not gonna put my time into writing novels for you to read.
Yeah.
But also like yes, I am. There is a real person behind you who wants to help you. I hate to break it to you.
Mm-hmm.
And typically once they find out there's a person, they're like, oh, I'm sorry, what's up? And I'm like, all right,
Nice to meet you.
right, like hello. But I like for me at least like AI. It's not very like you said. It's not very helpful for in my case because like unless I even like writing content.
You could find me like the latest listings that fill out these categories, and instead of going in Zillow or wherever you might do it, or like a realting website and doing it, you could just ask it to do it for you.
Sweet, I guess, but like even that like real estate agents, all of our stuff is like we do it, and like no one else can get into it unless you have a license and all that.
Mm-hmm.
So like I can do a search, like I can do a quick search, a normal search.
Oh yeah,
simple stuff. But like also right now like public AIs can't really just browse the internet currently.
Yeah,
so it's just
places, like I mean even without the AI, like you have people that write scripts that like scrape data off of websites, right? And like someone like ESPN, like that's cool, right? Because you get like the sports stats and whatnot. But at the same time, it's annoying because if you're sending a bunch of requests to the website, it could crash it, and like that's how like hackers can take down a website. It's just by sending like a ton of requests at once.
Ooh.
So they always block that kind of traffic.
Okay, that makes a lot of sense.
So the AI is like the same thing where like it's limited, but they're so trained they probably already know because they basically just let it go loose on the internet for a minute, check it out, and then come back with all the information.
Yeah, it's very strange. Like Chat GPT. I hope I say BT. It was like very new, like very recent.
Yeah.
What was it last year that it like became like a real thing?
Even while we were in college, or when I was there.
Yeah, I was like, I'm still here. But like, I think we were both still cheering together.
Yeah.
So what? 2 years ago? And this year just started.
It was really starting to come up. Yeah.
Yeah. So I remember Zach being like, guys,
check this out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like I was like, that's so silly. Now everyone's like, oh god, oh no. And like even this semester specifically, a lot of my classes are like, no AI. We know.
Yeah.
Because last year, like none of the teachers were like really doing anything. Now, like I've had several people be like, oh my god, my teacher caught me, and I'm like, what did you do? And they're like, I just copied and pasted. I'm like,
you guys are crazy. Like you never.
You don't talk like that.
No one copy and pastes.
Even from a web, like if you were to do it from an article.
Yeah.
Where do you think they got the information from?
Yeah. That's fair.
And like they're a robot. They're not smart enough to like change it to how you talk. No.
Yeah, you have to adjust it.
Right. It's just so interesting to me, like that whole thing, because like I would say college students from even my time versus your time, like much different in the terms of like technology. Like you were like handshake. That's how I got my thing. Me, I've toyed with handshake a little bit. Not my thing. I will go and look at who's messaging me and see what's there.
Yeah, I've never been asked more in my life to become like a charter school teacher or like join the Marines.
LinkedIn, with my capstone, like LinkedIn I've been a little into recently. But mostly like I've gotten not any of my job, well, real estate technically is on there, but most of my jobs from LinkedIn. Or just like people I know. Which like they're not jobs in my field yet.
I mean that's how that goes a lot of times though. Like people you know.
Right. So like my thing, social media, depending on who you know. Like realtor, thank God. I know people in California. Like why do I know realtors in California? Social media. Just because. That one I did read from cheerleading, thank God. But no, like literally social media. Like randomly enough, one of my friends just became a realtor over there. And so like I now have a client who's over there who wants to move over here. And I'm like, that's the weirdest thing. Like I had to do almost nothing except for have Instagram. at the
Yeah.
right place, the right time.
And be a nice person.
Right.
Crazy.
Make friends. And yours, handshake, quick apply,
Yeah.
right place, right
And
time.
even when I, like, the same thing, like, you could have as many skills as you want, but, like, every job you get, you're going to learn the skills on the job. You need to have a foundation, sure. Like, you should know,
Right.
like, what a computer is.
Right.
You go into IT, like, how to code to, like, a basic extent, like, solve a problem.
You're like, I know Java.
But, like, for real, like, in the interview for the internship, they were asking me all these questions about a job, like, about a class that I literally just did not pay attention in. It was, like, networks. They're asking me all this and that, and I'm, like, you know, I'm guessing my way through. I'm totally wrong. And then at the end, they're like, I was telling them how I was, like, a cheerleader and blah, blah, blah. They're like, oh, so you like sports or whatever, like, you like basketball. And I was like, yeah, I like basketball. And they're like, who's your favorite player? And, like, I don't really watch basketball. So I was like, Michael Jordan. They're like, oh, my God, we love the Bulls. Like,
Yes.
and then, you know, like, a week later, I get the offer. So I'm like, holy shit.
Literally, my serving job. My first job was McDonald's, funny enough. And I don't remember putting it on my resume for this job, just because, like, it was when I was 16. I'm 22 now. Like, leave me be. And at the end of my interview, like, and it was a fast interview. Like, the manager apparently is always like that, but he's very nice, love him. But he was going fast.
Mhm.
And he was basically, like, at the very end, he's like, oh, you worked at McDonald's. And I was like, yes. I don't, in my head, I was like, I don't remember telling him that, but
Yeah.
yes. He's like, I love that. Why? Because work ethic. You
Yeah.
know how to work in a very
Yeah.
piss poor
My
situation.
favorite one is, like, when you go to get your high school job or, like, your college job, and it's like, you go in and it's like, it could be like serving or it could be like being a lifeguard. Like, I remember when I was going to be a lifeguard at Robert Wood, I sat down, they're like, so why do you want the job? Or, like, why do you need this job? And, like, a lot of people will be like, ooh, I want it because I love, like, lifeguard, I love helping you. It's like, no. They just want to hear that you want to work.
Right,
Like, they
like,
just tell money.
no. You need to be a real person. You need to, like, just be, not for the joke, but, like, be who you are. Like, it's, they know why you're there. You're not getting a job just to have a job because you want to fill up your time. No. You're a college student.
You need money. You need
Rent's
money.
expensive.
Yeah.
Life's expensive.
Even, like, working now, like, if someone could ask me, like, oh, do you love your job? It's like, I don't love my job. I like it.
Given the opportunity, I would be a stay-at-home parent. If I did not have to work and I could take care of children and do laundry, yes, I'm doing it. Who wants to go to a job that they have to do things they don't want to, listen to people who they don't want to?
Yeah, you could just get bossed around. I feel like even, like, work, sports teams, school, they all feel the same way.
Right. Like, sports, questionable.
Even sports feels the same way because you have, like, you have your team.
Yeah.
Right? You have your team and you have, like, practice with them, which is you go into work every day. You have a coach, which is your manager. The person above your team. And then you have other teams, you know? And sometimes, like, you...
See, my thing is, at least a job pays you.
A
Sports?
job pays you. Yeah.
That's the same reason I quit you too. I got a job.
Yeah.
Got busy. But, like, it is just so... Technology nowadays, in terms of, like, how we grow up, is so strange.
Mhm.
Like, or you specifically, but, like, everyone right now has to grow up so much faster. And I think you had a really great experience, in a way. Like I said, didn't have to intern. You did for, like, a few weeks and was like, here's a job.
Yeah.
But, like, you stayed in-house pretty much. And you didn't have to have, like, that after college
Oh, shit.
nothing.
Yeah.
Like,
what am I going to do?
oh no, I'm at home with nothing.
Mhm.
Help. So, like, it really worked out for you. But recently, I love real estate, so glad I got into it. I was like, what if I actually want a job in communications, like PR? I was like, ooh, I have
Really?
an intern. Like, what do I do? And I talked to some of my teachers, and they were like, you do know you are running a business, like, on you. That you are your business, your personal, congratulations, you've been doing PR. If you need to, like, prove experience, you were a realtor. You had to brand yourself. You had to run social media. You had to do client work. You had to reach out to certain agencies. And I was like, you're so right. I have been doing this. It's a great opportunity. So for me, I think I would very much be able to leverage the real estate work once I do decide to get into that. or if.
You can.
Yeah, I have the option. So just very interesting. And like social media, I know I have to keep that up. I know I don't post as often as I should, but I think everyone should know that social media is like the best place to post the best version of you. Like,
That's what you're supposed to do.
yes, like famous people on Instagram are famous for a reason. They are showing what everyone else wants to see.
Mm-hmm.
So why do you think you shouldn't be doing that? Like, it.
Some people may feel different.
Yeah. Well.
Well, you know, not for everybody. They don't care because it doesn't matter. Like for me, like I don't need to post anything because like I already have the job and like
Yeah.
it has no effect. Maybe on like LinkedIn, if I get like promoted or something, I gotta be like, oh, I'm so excited that I got promoted. Thank you to these people for all your guidance.
See, but I think that's the same thing. Like LinkedIn is the sneaky social media. Like it's not like Instagram where everyone's like, oh my god, it's so friendly, whatever. No, LinkedIn's like where you do the real down and dirty. Like you get jobs on LinkedIn, which is
Yeah.
like in this market.
There's money on LinkedIn.
Yeah. And like especially with my capstone, like we've had to do a lot of work with LinkedIn. Crazy what goes on in there. Like just building connections and like seeing what other people I genuinely like actually know
Mhm.
are posting about. I'm like, oh, I didn't know this was a thing.
Yeah. I mean, I'll never like post on LinkedIn, but like I like stuff, and I'll comment, congrats.
I mean,
name.
even that, you're keeping connections, you're building relationships.
Yeah, I do the bare minimum.
It's still
It
happening.
works.
There are people who I know who are like, no thanks, I'm good. I'm like, oh, maybe hello.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I think everyone should have some space on LinkedIn.
You need
Have a page.
yeah, people need to know you exist.
Right. Because imagine you are looking for a job and you're like, oh crap, I need a job. At least if you have LinkedIn and you have a few connections, you are known to be a real person. You're not a robot.
Mhm.
And people, if you reach out to someone, they're like, okay, I'll look into this.
Yeah.
And even following up after interviews. If you go to an interview, find them on LinkedIn, and follow up, they're like, oh, maybe they do care.
Yeah, you just gotta say thank you. That'll be the difference between getting a job and not like 80% of the time.
It is strange.
People are rude.
People are very rude.
I don't know what happened.
The internet,
I guess.
technology. Well, I don't know. That's conversation for another day.
It's that gentle parenting.
All right. I think we're good though, which is great. Thank you for coming and talking.
Thanks for having me.
You have social media. Do you want people to follow you?
I'm not gonna plug.
That's real. That's real. If you want to find Duffy, you have to look on your own. Figure it out.
Yeah, good luck.
All right. With that, thank you and good night.